Hi, my name is Emily Sweeney, and I'm a solar ombudsman at Sustainable CUNY. I'll be joined in this presentation by Ron Reisman, the New York City Solar Partnership Program Manager at Sustainable CUNY. We're going to take a quick look at community shared solar in New York City and Sustainable CUNY's role in advancing it, a pioneering program involving the New York City Housing Authority, and a project on which CUNY is collaborating with the National Renewable Energy Laboratories and several other partners on identifying and overcoming the barriers to siting community solar and community solar plus storage systems in New York City and other urban areas. For those of you who are not familiar with us or our work, Sustainable CUNY is a strategic program of the City University of New York that has two areas of focus. The first involves ensuring that the university's 19 campuses in all 5 boroughs operate sustainably regarding energy, water, and waste. The second area is known as the Smart DG Hub and provides support for New York's distributed generation framework. Since 2006, we've partnered with the Mayor's Office of Sustainability to support the adoption of clean and renewable energy alternatives. Our ombudsmen are dedicated to providing market support for New York's solar and storage industries, including energy resiliency infrastructure through the Smart DG Hub. New York City has one of the fastest growing solar markets of any major urban center, as this next slide will illustrate. As you can see, New York City had less than 10 megawatts of installed capacity as recently as 2012. Today, that number is well over 200 megawatts. We expect that this hockey stick growth will soon be duplicated by energy storage as well. This growth has been fostered by all the market actions the Smart DG Hub and our ombudsmen have undertaken over the years. I'm not going to name them all, but you can see it's quite a long list, with our ongoing efforts highlighted in green. With support from the US Department of Energy, New York State, and New York City in particular, our team leads programs aimed at removing barriers to the large-scale adoption of solar and, since 2012, battery storage in New York City. A key web-based tool that CUNY developed to help all New Yorkers is the New York Solar Mapping Portal that you can find at nysolarmap.org. You'll be able to find the solar potential of your home or business with the calculator on our homepage, and have access to resources that are collaboratively developed with the DOB, FDNY, and others on permitting, interconnection, zoning, financing, and other topics related to solar and storage. There is a library of reports, guides, and recordings of our past webinars. I'll turn it over to Ron now to talk about the community shared solar and our shared solar NYC gateway.
Thank you, Emily. I'm going to give a quick overview of what community shared solar is and how it works. The best way to describe community shared solar is to say that it allows multiple customers to share the output of a single solar system that's not located on their rooftop. It's an ideal concept for a place like New York City, where more than 2/3 of the population are renters who don't have control over their roofs. This slide illustrates the model for community solar, with residential, small commercial, and nonprofit customers in different boroughs sharing the power produced by this one installation. Each system must have a minimum of 10 subscribers, with no one subscriber taking more than 40% of the system's output. There are 4 major players in a community solar system: the owner of the building who leases its roof space to host the system, the owner of the system who manages and operates it, the customer who subscribes to it, and the utility company, which in our case is Con Edison. As you can see from this diagram, the solar system sends power into the Con Ed grid. Con Ed then credits the value of that power to the account of each customer who subscribes to the system. Billing is now simplified so the customer can pay a single bill to either Con Ed or the system owner, with all the credit calculations shown on that bill. The discount the customer receives under their subscription generally ranges from 5% to 15%. Meanwhile, the system owner is paying the site host a monthly rental fee to lease the roof space for the solar system. Those with a specific interest in community solar can visit our gateway at sharedsolarnyc.org. You'll find an interactive map of community solar installations in New York City. Click on each dot and you'll see the location, system size, developer, and, if applicable, subscription manager. A separate page listing all the subscription managers doing business in the city is also available. The Gateway serves as a marketplace for matching community solar developers with building owners who are interested in becoming site hosts, and matching utility customers with community solar projects looking for subscribers. Community shared solar offers several economic and environmental benefits. It offers access to solar to all customers, regardless of their roof situation. It provides clean, renewable, and locally produced energy at a discount, which is especially helpful to low and moderate income households. And it brings economic redevelopment to our city's neighborhoods and creates good-paying jobs for neighborhood residents. One project I'd like to talk about that exemplifies all of these benefits is the New York City Housing Authority's 25 megawatt solar initiative. Sustainable CUNY is proud to have supported this initiative from the very beginning with technical assistance, rooftop assessments, proposal evaluation, and other services. NYCHA owns and operates more than 2,200 buildings throughout the city and provides housing to more than 400,000 New Yorkers, about 1 in every 18 city residents. Its rooftops offer a wealth of space for solar installations and can be monetized to provide much needed revenue for NYCHA in the form of lease payments. These installations can provide workforce development opportunities for NYCHA residents. One of the evaluation criteria for proposals to develop these sites centers on the level of job training and hiring the developers are willing to offer. NYCHA receives nearly all of its electricity from the New York Power Authority at rates well below what it would pay through a power purchase agreement with a solar developer. As a result, all of the systems installed will be community shared solar. About 10,000 NYCHA households are billed directly by Con Edison and are prime candidates to become subscribers, along with about 80,000 other households that receive Section 8 vouchers for rent assistance. The rest of the NYCHA residents live in master metered buildings and do not receive a utility bill, as their utility costs are included in their rent. However, they are eligible to participate in the workforce opportunities. All residents, as well as all New Yorkers, can reap the benefits of community shared solar, as the clean energy produced by these installations will also contribute to reducing greenhouse gases, a key component of Mayor de Blasio's climate change goals. There are essentially two parts to NYCHA's solar initiative. The commercial solar program is aimed at developing solar on NYCHA's more commercially desirable rooftops, generally those with the ability to host at least a 40 kilowatt system. It operates in a standard procurement format, with NYCHA issuing a request for proposals to large established solar developers. In evaluating the proposals it receives, NYCHA looks for those that will maximize its revenue for the rooftop leases, although other evaluation criteria include hiring goals and reserving a certain amount of the system's output for low and moderate income subscribers. The other half of the pie is Access Solar, an acronym created from Accelerating Community-Empowered Shared Solar. Access Solar is more of a community-driven program, with less emphasis on the lease revenue NYCHA could receive and more of a focus on the workforce development and low and moderate income subscriber goals. Teams led by community-based organizations and including local solar installers, workforce training organizations, financiers, and subscription managers submitted plans to develop community solar installations on some of NYCHA's smaller and more scattered campuses. I'm going to turn things back to Emily now to discuss a collaborative effort between CUNY and the National Renewable Energy Laboratories.
Thanks, Ron. I think we can all agree that community solar is a great economic driver for New York City, generating clean, low-cost energy, investing capital back into our communities, and creating good-paying jobs. So with all these wonderful benefits, why aren't we seeing more community solar systems being installed in the 5 boroughs? That's the question we're answering in this project with NREL and its Solar Energy Innovation Network. CUNY assembled an all-star team of experts from the Real Estate Board of New York, Con Edison, the New York Power Authority, Underwriters Laboratories, and the Electric Power Research Institute to identify the barriers to the wider deployment of both community shared solar and community shared solar plus storage in the city, and to recommend ways of overcoming those barriers. The plan is to quantify issues related to economics, risk management, liability, policy, regulatory, education, and outreach to determine how they may be putting obstacles in the path of more robust community solar development. The study is specifically focused on commercial and industrial buildings, which represent the greatest potential market for host sites. The tools and processes we're developing to overcome these barriers are expected to lead to an increased number of new applications for community solar installations and a rise in the amount of community solar available to city residents. Since this study is being funded by the federal government, the findings developed by CUNY and its team members will be replicable to other urban areas around the country. No matter how good the benefits of community solar are, they become academic when the people who need to know about them are not aware of the benefits. One of the key areas we're exploring is the knowledge gap that exists with commercial building owners in New York on a wide range of issues, from economic benefits like lease payments for their roof space and property tax abatements from New York City, to the advantages of being an anchor tenant for the installation they host. We are looking at how to bridge these knowledge gaps with building owners, as well as how to address the perceptions, good or bad, that they may hold about solar and energy storage. We then have to work with our partners on an implementation plan to put these ideas into practice. I'm not going into detail about all the steps in the process, but I do want to lay out our strategy in approaching this challenge. You'll see we have a 4-step process that begins with speaking to key stakeholders: building owners, real estate developers, architects, solar developers, government officials, and cataloging their input. We are then taking the input we received and processing it to determine optimal hosting sites and locations throughout the city where solar and storage can provide the greatest benefit to the grid and thus qualify for the most robust incentives and revenue streams. Our strategy is to recommend solutions to the barriers we've identified and to produce a guide that can serve as a roadmap for a future of greater community solar development. We will build a virtual library with the information we compile on various use cases and then create a plan for disseminating that information through a coordinated outreach program to the real estate community, permitting authorities, solar developers, and other stakeholders. This wraps up our presentation. If you need technical assistance on a specific issue relating to installing solar in New York City, please feel free to contact us at nysolar@cuny.edu. Thank you.